YouTube sends out notifications. That would be cool if they did, right? Hopefully they will, and then I'll have somebody to talk to because I haven't been on this channel in a few days, and I'm happy to be back and I wanted to talk. So hopefully it's not too late. If it's too late and nobody is awake, then maybe I'll come back tomorrow. But hopefully someone is home and I'll get to talk. That would be cool. That would be incredibly cool if I could do that. So let's see if they send out notifications. I might get lucky. I kind of wanted to talk about a couple of things that were in the news and things that were happening. Some things that are kind of funny, some things that are like a little disturbing. Definitely wanted to address some of those things. Ooh, okay. Hmm. Let's see. I know it's late, so YouTube may take a while to send out notifications. They may. I should have came in earlier, but I was live on my other channel, so I couldn't come in till now. Oh, I see some people are showing up. Hi, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, hit the like button. I was surprised. I'm actually surprised. I was sitting here thinking, like, maybe everybody's not still awake. I wanted to talk about, like, a few of the things that are in the news, a few of the things that are going on. Hey, Aries, son, how you doing? Thank you for being like number 2. Yeah, because it's a few things going on that I kind of wanted to cover, but I will say this: if we don't get folks that know I'm in right now, I might come back tomorrow. I was kind of trying to wait to see if YouTube would send out the notifications. I hope they would, but maybe not, right? Maybe not. Ashley, hey. Yes, it's my third live of the day. I wanted to cover some news. And, I like to kind of talk about what's happening, but I always want to get feedback. I want to know what y'all think about stuff. Let me give you an idea of what we're covering, okay? So, hey, Sunil. Make sure you behave yourself because we will block you, okay? All right. I should probably do ground rules, some housekeeping and stuff, right? So this is a channel where we talk about news topics. I give my opinion, but more than anything, I want to know what everyone else is thinking. Please don't be rude. No name calling. None of that stuff. And what else? Try not to curse if y'all can help it, and like this video, okay? So what we're covering: Congress officially passed the Doge cuts. So I do want to talk about that. I want to know what y'all think about it. I, for one, I'm for it. I'm excited. I was really excited. I was shocked though. I was surprised. I was like, wait, what? That happened? I don't know. I kind of low-key thought that Congress would stall it, hold it up, block it or something, but they officially passed the Doge cut. So I was like, okay. I do want to talk about the whole situation with Act Blue. Oybek Nigmatov. Hi. Hey, Quiet Storm. Yep, girl, you catching a black, not blue. Act Blue got busted for fraud. I don't know if y'all knew that, but I do want to talk about that because that is huge. That is not small. And I want to know why it's being kept so quiet. Why is everybody like on the hush? We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this 100%, because I feel as though if it were the other way around, we would have never heard the end of it. I want to talk about it, and I want to know why. I would like to know why y'all think it's being kept quiet. They're saying that USAID officials and 3 of the corporate executives for USAID have pled guilty to moving some money that wasn't supposed to be moved by $500 million worth. I said, what is going on? These people are crazy. Then I also want to know y'all's opinion on the mayor of LA, because they're saying that she's giving out money to illegals. That seems a little wrong. So I kind of want to know what y'all think about that. Like I want to know y'all's opinion on a lot of things tonight. Oh, we absolutely got to talk about what happened in Spain and what's going on in Portugal. Mm-hmm. Now you know normally I kind of stick to the things that pertain to Americans only because we are Americans. However, I think this one deserves a little bit of attention because it more or less speaks to a broader issue. Because a lot of the European countries threw their borders open and they were invaded by a lot of these third world countries and dangerous people, criminals, and all of that. So we definitely got to talk about what went on in Spain and what Portugal just did to put a stop to the mess. Okay? Let me see who else is in there. Monica. Hey, Monica. International Scout. Hi. Robin Gaming. Okay, well, we're going to charge you with a block because this is also a Christian channel. And I'm not sure how your mother raised you, but I can tell you, you will not be behaving that way here. Good night. Hey, Carrie White. Probably go to the hospital. Okay. So, yeah, we got to talk about the mayor of LA and what she's doing and what it means. We got to talk about what happened in Spain and Portugal. I want to kind of like check y'all's pulse on the Epstein files too. I want to know what y'all think. Like, I have so many theories about this. Um, and I think the last thing that Pam Bondi just did, I think is kind of heading in a direction. And I hope it's a direction where we get some transparency and all of the truth comes out. Because to be honest, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care who's dirty. I just want them exposed. Armando Acosta. I am from America. This is an American channel. This is a Christian channel. Welcome. Okay. Um. Yeah. So I do want to know what y'all think about the Epstein files. What your opinions are. Why you think there's a bit of a stall, why you think that we haven't gotten the information yet. Ooh, and I want to talk about what Tulsi Gabbard just declassified on Obama. I want to know what y'all think. So we're going to get into it. Hey, Queenly, welcome. Jesus loves you too. RA say, I tell lies every day purely because I don't want to offend the people I'm talking to. Well, that's not good. And you should go and pray and ask God to forgive you because lying is bad. Hope that helps. All right, Armando, you too. Yep, Quiet Storm, it does look like you need a good old wrench. Let's get you a good old wrench. All right, Quiet Storm, you got your wrench, girl. Hey, that Cali girl, I miss you. We don't get to see her that much anymore. That's our good sis. So, oh, I know what. I don't know who's here that was here last time. I'm going to wait a while and see if more people who were here last time get here this time. Because I know some of the ladies that were here last time said they were definitely interested in our Facebook group. So I did go ahead and set that up. And I'm really excited about it. I think we can get a lot done. Definitely some recipe swapping, some organizing and whatnot, but it is for Christian ladies only, so there will be no space for men. It's just for ladies, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay. All right. So, what's first? Ooh. Maybe we should do Spain first. Should we deal with Spain's issue first, and then we'll move on to Act Blue? Hey, sweet beloved, how are you? Okay. So let's get into it, right? Hold on. I think what I'm going to do, because y'all know I watch Clayton and his wife quite a bit, and they covered the story, and it was really short enough. It was short enough that I don't mind snagging part of their video, and I encourage you guys to follow them too. Redacted. Clayton does a wonderful job of covering the news. Wonderful. Hi, Sierra. Hi, Luzel. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay. Because I really want y'all to see what went on in Spain. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy. Matter of fact, we're not gonna move to Act Blue after this. We're gonna move to the mayor of LA giving out money to illegals. We're gonna move to that first because that was a choice. I'm just gonna say it. That was a hell of a choice. I cannot imagine why anybody would do that. I just can't. I can't imagine why anybody would do that. Hey, I did see what's going on in Mexico with people who are foreign to Mexico. I did. Welcome. Baja Califas. Hi. Baja Califas, we're gonna get rid of you because I'm not playing with y'all this evening. Y'all are too rude. Things like that are really crazy. It's like you imagine thinking that you should just talk to a random woman like that. And I believe some of these people are some of the illegals we're talking about. They weren't raised decent. And that's why we need to be very, very careful about who we allow into where we have to live. Because everybody wasn't raised with the same set of values. There's a different value system. And I think we're going to need to be a lot more careful because, it affects everybody when the doors are just open. So, yeah, I'm going to let y'all just kind of check into what's being said over on Redacted on Clayton and Natalie's channel because I think it's worth listening to. So we're going to join this one in progress. It's a short one. I just want y'all to get the gist of what's going on. It's not long at all, okay? All right? That's right, Sierra. America needs to put Americans first. Okay, Brett Fisher. Welcome, y'all. Please like my video. Y'all are hanging out with me. Help me out. Like my video. Double tap the screen or hit the three buttons at the top and then hit like, but that'll help me, okay? So let me flip this back and let's go.
Go to foxnews.com, go to any of them. Zero coverage of what's happening right now in Spain. Of course, they're hiding it from you on purpose. So just take a look at some of these images. This weekend, it all started with elderly Spanish folks getting attacked, beat up by a group of illegal Moroccan gang members. The illegals are now even setting up barricades, blocking streets. It's like they're going to war, taking over the streets, attacking local Spanish citizens. But now, and the police aren't doing anything about it. So what are the Spanish people doing? They're trying to take their streets back. They're forming their own groups to stop them. Here's how would you say that? Reimmigration?
Remigration.
There you go. So this is their group, Spanish Patriots, taking to the street, saying Spain is a Christian country, holding banners for reimmigration and chanting Spain is Christian, not Muslim. Basically, the Spaniards are now pushing for mass deportations. Like, get out of our country. You're ruining our country. Pensioners being attacked, old people being attacked just on their way home from a restaurant. It's an absolute disaster. I like this tweet. This kind of sums it up here. I love this person's screen name, by the way. Cleavage Crumbs. Cleavage Crumbs writes, "This is not a breakdown in civility by the Spaniards. This is a reasonable response to continuing and escalating acts of violence by groups of, let's call them what they are, invaders. Disrespectful of Spanish culture, religion, and people, these invaders are finally meeting resistance. True resistance can only come from the Spaniards themselves, as their governments, so synchronized to the horrendous immigration policies of the EU, do not see the true danger posed by the invaders. The diversity is a strength bullshit is being seen for what it is. People unwilling to assimilate, unwilling to accept the culture of the land they are supposedly integrating themselves to is not immigration, it's an invasion," she says.
She's right.
What do you guys think of this? I mean, Spain is in deep, deep trouble. I'm not surprised the mainstream media is totally ignoring the story, of course.
And that's what I want to talk about. Why is mainstream media ignoring these kind of stories? This is something that should have been on primetime news on every major legacy media channel. Let me see. I1 says this is why we have a Second Amendment. Exactly. I want to get more into that, Brett. You're in your bag. You are in your bag. I want you to go deeper into your bag, but you are absolutely correct. Hey, Marlene, 6'4" Kimmy Joe. Hi, welcome. That's right, America First. So let's talk about this, right? There is a reason why Americans are vilified all over the globe. And one of the first things, I got a piece of hair just sticking, and y'all didn't tell me. One of the first things that they love to say about us is, oh, we have guns. You Americans and your guns. That is the only thing that has protected us. That is the only thing that has protected us from being in the same position that those poor people in Spain are in. They're attacking old people. The police are not helping. And I will bet you any amount of money the police are not helping because the government has told them not to help. The EU has their weird immigration policy, the same thing that Biden and them were doing over here, throwing the borders open, allowing these criminals, these miscreants, and all of the undesirables of the world, military age men and everything else, to invade our country, take over, erasure of American culture. That's what it was all about. Now, Spain is fighting back. The citizens are fighting back. And you know what? Good on them, because that's what they should do. Why on earth? Like, think about it. You got Moroccan people in Spain brutalizing, attacking old people, pensioners. Like, are y'all okay? This is not right. This ain't right at all. And so, hey, FRO, how you doing? I'm kind of, I'm old, so I have to squint. Dirty Money said, train to nowhere, billions gone, not 1 foot of track laid. Pam Gator, hi. Monster Yard says, what do you think about French people? I think French people are great in France. That's what I think. We got one being rude. Give your opinion about what's going on, and or just be gone. I'm not gonna block you yet. Learn how to give an opinion. Don't walk in here and spit out insults. This is not liberal land. I know liberals like chaos. That's why they erase borders and allow people to come in and attack the citizenry. Just like Biden allowed the Venezuelans to come in and attack American citizens, take over whole apartment complexes, demand rent from people who are hardworking, law-abiding American citizens. I know y'all don't like order, you don't like decency, you prefer anarchy and mania, but it's not okay, and do not come here doing it. That is your first and only warning. All right? Hey, Dirty Money. Sierra says everyone needs to fight for their country, just like Americans. I agree. Angel Rivera, I'm with you. So I do hope that you fight for Puerto Rican independence, and I hope you win. Okay? Thank you, Jackie. Tell them, just be respectful, because I'm not going to disrespect you, but I can promise you, you will not be disrespecting me. Hey, Eric Austin. Hey, Iceman. So that's what's going on in Spain, but y'all got to see what Portugal did. And quite frankly, Patrick Kruger says DC too. Do what you got to do. You got to see what Portugal did in response to that crap. I don't know whether it was in direct response, but it's worth talking about. Portugal is not playing. Let's be very honest here. I'm gonna let you see the video, but because sometimes people can explain things better, but I want to know y'all's opinion. Ransomware virus, hi, in California. Angel Rivera, I'm aware it's a U.S. colony, but you said you want independence, so go ahead and fight for it. It's kind of how the world works. There's wars and whatnot and resistances, and then you fight, and the spoils go to the victor, right? So let me let y'all get a load of what happened in Portugal. Portugal is fighting back too, but their government is actually standing up for them, which is shocking. I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. Portugal is not a big country, but Portugal, as the young people say, Portugal is standing on business, okay? Bash will say your thoughts on LA riots and deportation of illegals. My thoughts are that their behavior in the riots, of course, was criminal, but I'm not surprised because these people are criminals. If you were a law-abiding citizen, you would have entered the country legally. So, Hopefully, no one gets hurt, but everyone who's illegal gets deported. That's what I think. Patrick says, I am a colonialist. That's a new one. Patrick, I've been called a lot of things, but never that. And remember, we don't call names here. We give opinions about the topics we're talking about. So if you're tempted to call a name, make sure that you leave first. Okay? All right. Dirty Money says, how's Puerto Rico going to survive without the 1.5, the 15 billion per year from US from American taxpayers? If they want their freedom, they can figure it out. I'm sure they'll do great. There's lots of, really great people over there. They can do a lot. Sierra says self-deport and come back the legal route. I agree because nobody is saying, Sierra, you made a great point. Before I play the Portugal video, you made a great point, right? Which is, don't ask me, Gerard, Sam. Gerard, you tell me what you think. I got the chat here so y'all can tell me what you think about topics, not interview me. It's not an interview, it's a conversation. You made an excellent point, Sierra. Nobody is saying that once you're deported, you can never come back. They're just saying when you come back, do it legally. And I think that's great because I think a lot of people could make an argument for the opposite. Like you came here illegally, so now we got your name, your, thumbprint information, whatever. So now you can never come back because you came here illegally. You broke the law. You were a strain on the system and harmful to the citizens. So the fact that they're saying you can still come back, I don't understand why everybody is crying. I'm just going to be honest. I don't get it. I don't know why anybody would be upset. Zach says everyone is entitled to due process under the law. Okay, well, y'all, that's Zach's opinion. Hi, Zach. I heard that too, Dirty Money. I did hear that there were attorneys at Alligator Alcatraz. I did hear that. Okay, Brian Valenti says that he's saying if you break the law, you can't come back. I agree with that. I could agree with that. Robert Bart, I agree. They do need to release them Epstein files. I don't care who's got to get caught. I don't care who gets exposed. I want them all out. Bring them out. Bashful says, you're a very intelligent, beautiful black woman. I wish we were friends. Love, Antoinette. Hi, Antoinette. Well, now we're friends. So make sure you subscribe so that you can be around because I want you to be around. You got cool energy. Benjamin McDonald says, I can tell you're not going to split the atom anytime soon. Benjamin, you're not either. And the fact that you came here to spit out an insult instead of engage in conversation and tell us what you think about the topics, I think that says a lot about you and the woman that raised you. I'm kind of embarrassed for her a little. Hey, Cherry. Cherry says not true. Criminal entry means no due process. And that's her opinion. I kind of agree with Cherry Boo. I kind of do. Okay, Vet for Democracy says this isn't an opinion, it's the Constitution. That's his opinion. I kind of agree with that too. I agree with everybody. Usually, a little bit. Like, I think when it comes to certain things, I can see both sides, is what I mean. When I say I agree with everybody, I can usually see both sides, right? But overall, attorneys at Alligator Alcatraz, I think that's due process, yeah. And then I also feel as though the people who feel like they're not, that we don't owe them that because they're not citizens and technically you're not even supposed to be here. I can agree with that too because I can see an argument for that too. HW says due process is for citizens. See, you see what I'm saying? Like everybody has a valid point when you look at it. I kind of lean more toward you're not supposed to be here. I feel like if it was a less pressing need to get these people out of here, then I would probably lean more toward, okay, go ahead or whatever. But no, at the levels of, illegality, the levels, the numbers, just the sheer numbers of these people that we got to put out. Yeah, I don't really want to hear about due process too much, to be honest. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Hey, Dinestone Trophy, how are you? Okay, Vet for Democracy says all persons in America has due process. Okay, well, they're saying that there's attorneys at Alligator Alcatraz, so it might work out. Gerard says if one person doesn't have due process, that means no one does. Well, I don't know about that. I don't believe in that, but I guess I see where you're going. Gojo says, gotta come to the U.S. the correct way. Yes. Like all this stuff, where we're trying to bend over backwards and reinvent the wheel to give certain people permission to break the law is not okay. Okay, so this person with this weird name, we're going to go ahead and block you. You either give an opinion about the topics or bye. Okay, Vet for Democracy says he's firm in his beliefs, y'all. He says all persons are not just citizens. Okay. Mick Swagger says Haiti is an example of a country that fought for independence. I agree, and I think they should go back and fight to make their country great, don't you? They fought for their independence. Wonderful. Like, that's admirable. But now that France is making them pay reparations for fighting for their freedom, and everybody is carting off anything of value that they have, why are you not fighting to make your country better? Why are you not fighting these, the groups that are making your living unbearable? Why are you not fighting? It's one thing to talk about a fight you had back in the 1800s. My dear, your island is in shambles. You need to be fighting now. Don't y'all think it's a little odd that instead of fighting, they run here? What is running here going to do for Haiti? I think that's a fair question, right? I think that's a fair question. If Haiti is in shambles, you running to America does not fix Haiti. It doesn't fix Haiti. Winston, I don't know what you mean. And to be quite fair, I'm not sure what my blackness has to do with the topics. But, be careful, because you really hate for one of my mods to bounce you. Okay, wait. Okay, back to the due process thing, because Vet for Democracy is in his bag, and I think he may have a valid point here that we should look at, y'all. Vet for Democracy says this isn't true. I think he's responding to somebody else because I never told him he was wrong. He says you can't prove they aren't citizens without due process. Oh, valid point. Well, if they're saying that there's attorneys down there, I'm sure they'll have the opportunity, or I want to believe they will have the opportunity to prove so. Okay. Mick Swagger says, is that Mick? Yeah, okay. Mick Swagger says Haiti has been left to fend for themselves by the organized world leaders. But my dear, that's what countries are supposed to do. Fend for themselves. And I'm not sure when that got lost. You're a country. You are a sovereign nation. You're supposed to fend for yourself. I'm not understanding. I understand making deals with other countries. I understand like treaties, maybe you could make a deal for some of your natural resources, for some weaponry or something, or for assistance or something to get some things done. But the fact that your island is, I'm not going to say anything bad, but it's not in a great state. It's in a very bad state. Why on earth are you not staying home to fix your home? And the same people who refuse to stay in their homes to fix their homes will come here and wave the flags of their homeland. If your home was wonderful, I believe you. Go home and fight for it. If your home is wonderful, and I don't doubt that it is to you, why are you not willing to fight for the place that you love so much that you will come to our country and wave your flag? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Sierra, what'd you say? Okay. It's all black, white, Hispanic, etc. Americans need to come together. Yep, we're stronger when we're united. The enemy doesn't like that we get along. They don't. I don't know if you were here last time I was live. Please subscribe so you can come back. But that's exactly what I was saying the last time we were live. These people have come here And they expect us to fight with each other and tear each other apart while they collect our homes. Y'all remember it was just like what, some months back they were squatting in American taxpayers' property, and the government was telling them that they couldn't put these people out of their homes. Um, they were here getting money on cards and stipends for clothing and paying for their lodging while they're tearing up everything. And I don't care what anybody says, they were up there in Ohio eating those people's cats and chopping the heads off the ducks at the duck pond. Now, I don't hate anybody, but you got to go home. You can't be here doing that. Going up 7 says, they'll be fighting. They'll be fighting. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be fighting, but I mean, if their home is, in disrepair and it's not really great, I think you should go fix it. Go fix it. I feel like this is just me. Again, this is all opinions, and I want y'all's opinions too, right? My thing is, if you're actually fighting to fix your country, your home, and you're putting in the work, right? And people see that you're putting in the work and you're making deals for supplies, and if your infrastructure is bad and they see you trying to use what you have in your building, I think you would be in a better position to bargain and talk to the leaders of maybe larger nations that they can partner with you, instead of expecting America or UK or France or whoever to just come in and like pay for everything and coddle you like a baby. That doesn't help you. You have to build your own and be self-sufficient. Hey, August Acorn. Lindsay letter says go to Haiti for a month. Why the hell would I do that? I'm an American. Are you? Well, I'm literally telling them to head home. Why on earth would I go there? I have no business there, just like they have no business here. Are you good? Why in the name of God would I do that? And I'm only talking to you this way because I've told you all to come here and give your opinion on the topics. Don't try to be aggressive with me. You won't win. Why on earth would I go to Haiti for a month? They don't even want to be here. They're running over here and waving their flags instead of staying home to fix their home. Think about that for a minute. Think about what you just said. You're telling an American citizen to go to a place that these people are running from to come over here to turn our home into something just as abysmal as the island they ran from. Think about what you just said. Just take a minute and think about it. Think about it. Okay. Mr. Alcinas says Haitians have fought so much and hard, it's more complex than you think. Well, here's the problem. I don't think about it. Go home and fix it. You cannot fix your island coming to America. You running over here waving a Haitian flag, having, this weird holiday, Haitian Flag Day. Haitian Flag Day in America is insane. Go to Haiti and then you can wave your Haitian flag every day. But running over here to wave a flag on U.S. soil where you did not fight and it's not your home and you're coming to reap where you did not sow, that does not fix Haiti. I can promise you it won't fix Haiti. You coming over here will not fix your island. Mick Swagger says, but realistically, no major countries fend for themselves, but they always make treaties, they make deals, they make arrangements. And other countries are sovereign. And you know what else? You don't see people fleeing in mass numbers. Name one time you've seen American citizens fleeing in mass numbers to go live anywhere. You don't see British citizens fleeing in mass numbers to go live anywhere. You don't see anybody doing that except these places that are in disrepair. And then that's their excuse for coming here illegally and still waving flags to tell us how they're superior. Americans, think about it. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. These people will tell us they're smarter, they're faster, they think better. Us Americans are so ignorant. Us Americans and our guns, us Americans and our rights and our freedoms and blah, blah, blah. But if we're so bad, why are you here? Your home is great. Stay home and wave that flag. Don't come here and do it. After all, we're just ignorant Americans. What on earth do we know? You shouldn't want to be around us. After all, Haiti, it was the French who, did you dirty. It wasn't us. Okay. Dee Dee Lynn says they can prove it with the EBT cards and free phones. Ooh. Yeah, I guess if you got one of those immigrant cards, I don't know what they look like. I mean, that would kind of tell on you. Barbara Isher says, in America, it's Americans first because you're 100% assured. In Mexico, it's about Mexicans. Oh, yes, we've been seeing that on the news. Tris Smith says, Trump's scene is why America is laughed at. But here's the thing. Whatever we got going on internally, I feel as though we can tussle with each other. We can quarrel with each other. And quite frankly, I don't know any Americans who care about foreigners laughing. Like, that's kind of the American way. We don't care what you think. We don't care if you like us. We don't care if you laugh. Just do it from over there. Do it over there. That's all we ask. Like, most of us are decent people. Raise our families, pay our bills, go to church on Sundays, water our grass, plant a garden. We don't care what you think. Because what you think doesn't matter. But you know why? Because we don't need you. And I think that people think that if you make jest or insult Americans, we're going to feel away. We don't. We don't. Because we don't need you for anything. Like, we can't think of one thing. Okay, name one thing we need any of the Caribbean islands for. I'm going to wait here. I'm going to look through the chat and see if I can find an answer. Stargirl says, why pay for Israel's war? That's a very good question because I don't agree with that either. I'm not a Zionist, and I don't agree with helping Israel. Not one penny, nickel, or dime. Nothing. If you ask me, Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. I don't care anything about Israel. Israel should come dead last behind, scratching somebody's left butt cheek. I have nothing for Israel. Hey, Brian Valenti. Sierra said, doesn't matter what color someone is. If you're American, we need to have each other's backs. Bingo. United we stand, divided we fall. I agree. Robin Wyckoff says, the first we the people of the United States of America. Oh, okay, not everyone. Gotcha. Hey, Nacho Nose. Nacho Nose says, yes, fix their own country. We want all countries to prosper. Right. It's like literally if everybody is working on their own homes, everybody's prospering, everybody's building, then everyone is in a better position should your neighboring country need your help one day. In reality, if America ever needs help, we can't call nobody because everybody is doing this, standing in front of us doing this. We can't continue to do that. That's why we're in trouble now. What is it, like 36 trillion in debt? We're in trouble now because nobody helps America. Nobody wants to be self-sufficient. You don't want to build your own. You want to suckle from the teat of America while telling us that we're just so trashy. We're nothing. Oh, good question, y'all. Winston said, how did white people come to America? Well, Winston, funny story about that, right? When they came, it wasn't America. You know that, don't you? Okay. Thought you might want to, just want to kind of drop that on you. When they came, it wasn't America. It became America. It was some white folks. It was some black folks. Some native folks that, formed these United States of America. They didn't come over here and it was just, oh, it's America. Let's take it. No, that's what the illegals are doing. Like, this nation is 249 years old. It was built, it was formed, it's been defended, it has expanded, it has prospered. And now people are running to say, ooh, America, let's steal it. No. And people are actually upset that American citizens are saying, yeah, no, you're not. What we have over here is pretty cool. It's pretty great. We got our problems. We fight with each other just like any other family. I don't know any family that doesn't have some level of dysfunction. But if you like what we have so much, either come legally or better still, here's an idea. Go home and model your country after what we got going on. Build your own version because after all, you're so much smarter than us. You're better, you're quicker, all that stuff. So you go home and you show us how to do it. That's all. And then we can clap for you. Oh, Harry Grace. Hi, Harry. Did you subscribe? I hope you subscribed. Y'all like my video, please. Mick Swagger says, I feel like the ones who come here and live a life of crime make all the others look bad. Well, Mick, if you come illegally, that's already, starting your life of crime. You got to come legally. If you mean well, you do it right, right? And then you got to look at even the ones who are not committing violent crimes or anything. If you're like taking from the system, you're a strain on the system, and that makes you look bad too. It does. Okay. Gerard Sam says, as a Canadian, anyone scared by the term socialism doesn't understand it. I mean, that's great. I'm not afraid of it, but I don't want it here. Nacho No says, yeah, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Did y'all see the video? Yeah. Hi, Creeper. Okay, flying the Trump flag next to an American flag is complete BS. I've never seen a Trump flag. What does that look like? Hey, Bradley Allen. Robin Wickoff says, Winston check with Europe. Okay. Hi, Nick. Mick Swagger says, but you're right. Most people that aren't American look at us in a negative way and they want the advancement but don't respect us. And what's crazy is we still have people who think that's okay. Like, why do you think that's okay? Would you let someone come inside your actual home and say, well, I don't have food, but give me some of yours, and I don't have blankets, but give me some of yours, and I don't even really have a roof. Let me stay here. Let me crash here for a little while, and I don't know when I'm leaving, if ever, and by the way, I'm better than you. You would put them out in 2 seconds. Vet for Democracy, I absolutely have left America before, quite a few times, actually. Have you? I mean, other than with the military? Because I have. And this is still the best thing smoking. I'm just saying. I just think it's a little weird. Barbara Escher says, Francis, I don't know, says America is all racist, but your comment was definitely racist. I don't know what y'all said. So let me get out y'all's conversation. Okay, let me slide a little bit because I'm getting in the weeds with the comments. I don't want to miss anything. Angelo, I'm from Florida. I'm an American from Florida. I hope that helps. Hey, Q Dog. So this is very typical of older black people. See, now my color is an issue. We're Americans here. We're all Americans. We got Americans of all colors. And, Q Dog, spelled with a W, wants me to, know that I'm typical of older black people. Not to be not radical because we got too good place, but got too good place, dear. Got too good place. But that's is not, have mercy, the point. We need to push further than means being a bit radical. Well, the most radical thing you can do, Q Dog with the W, is put yourself first. Put your home first. Hey, Conway. Oh, Ashley said they were referencing Trump. I almost called that man Trump. Trump's campaign flag. Okay. Got it. Okay, Tower Time says that's from a Chat GPT search. If you need more info about the Caribbean islands provided, I can search for more. We don't need to know a lot about them. We don't. Because while people are really, really concerned with us, most Americans are not very concerned with other people. We're not. We're surviving. We're busy tending to our own business. So I appreciate you trying to help people and stuff, but y'all don't, the Caribbean islands do not fuel our economy. They don't. If they did, I can guarantee you China would not be controlling the port of Kingston in Jamaica. You see what I'm saying? Your ports are being controlled by China, but you're deluding yourself that you somehow fuel the American economy. Stop fooling yourself. If you all fueled our economy, we would not be 36 trillion in debt. You don't fuel anything. If you have anything of value, normally you sell it off cheap. Your corrupt officials put it in their pockets while the people scratch around in the dirt. And then instead of fighting your corrupt politicians and putting people in place that will actually help you, you run to America. You run. Best runners ever. Track stars, the lot of you. Just saying. Hey, Black Caesar. Hey, Ray. Ray says we should love, not hate. Well, we do love ourselves and we love our country. We love our families. We love our homes. And we love them enough to defend them from people who want to tear them up and take away our sovereignty and our rights, change the way we live, erase our culture, and insert and assert themselves in dominant positions. Like, why? That doesn't sound like love to me. Does it sound like love to you? Do you think love is submitting to outside invaders and allowing them to erase everything you've ever known? Is that love? Because if it is, I don't want any. Hi, George Ebling. And thank you for sending me an air hug. I love air hugs. Thank you, Bree C7. Okay, Andrew D says, you are completely and fully incorrect in your economic understandings of how the Caribbean benefits the U.S. They could benefit us better by staying on their islands. I bet that. Thank you, HW. Right, Lori? Y'all make sure y'all like this video. Winston says, what currency do Caribbeans use? The dollar. Why are they not using their own currencies? They have them. They have them. Just the facts, ma'am. Love is drill rap. Yep, let's get you out of here because it's giving you're too ignorant to participate in the conversation. I would have really loved it if you could have, but you know, we all have to respect our limitations. Okay, George Ebling says, we love ourselves and want our citizens to prosper. Exactly. All of our citizens. Ray says, we spend more time finding ways to kill each other than finding ways to make love. Well, right now we're finding ways to get invaders out. Okay, so we'll figure out more about, you know, the recipe for love after we clean house. See, I1 has an excellent point. See, I1 is not somebody who's in love with Trump, but he's making an excellent point. He said Trump isn't the be all, is not the end all be all. I disagree with him every now and then, but he was the best choice we had. I agree with that too. Gerard says, should Americans not own the companies they work for, not have access to universal basic health care? Listen, I told you, you're here to, you know, express opinions. And I know you're Canadian, so maybe you don't really have a strong opinion about the things we're talking about, but we're happy to have you. But I promise you, I'm not doing interviews. Hey, Evie Welch. Oh, thank you. Love and prayers to you, too. God bless you. Aries Sun says, ooh, don't ask them that. Don't ask them how the Caribbean benefits Europe. If you notice, people are so hyper-focused on America right now, it's kind of creepy. No. I said help. And you're right. I did pose that question in the Tower Time. But they don't help us. There's not been one natural disaster where the Caribbean has loaded up a bunch of aid and sent to Florida or sent to Carolina or sent to Hawaii or sent to Texas or sent to the heartland of America. They have not. Commerce that's mutually beneficial that the Caribbean officials take from the people, that's not help, that's business. And if you don't want to do business with the U.S., that's fine. I promise you, we will survive. We have. We've been surviving. It's kind of what we do. But no one helps the U.S. If we get into trouble, if we get into the weeds like we have been and like we are now and slowly digging ourselves out, there is no aid package coming from anywhere. We are the aid package. We're the aid package. Andrew D., I know the global reserve currency is the dollar. You want to talk about how it got that way? Why are other nations not being more competitive? Lori says, I keep trying to explain to people that open borders equals no sovereignty. Exactly. Don't feel sorry for me, Andrew. I'm an American. I'm blessed. That, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people, and a lot of the immigrants, a lot of the people who want us fighting each other are really upset about, is that a lot of people are coming to the realization that no matter what's going on in this country, that we're not really crazy about, and we fight and we legislate and we litigate and we do all these things. They're not happy that a lot of us are just really just like, hey, let me stop complaining. I live in the best country on earth. I am blessed. You have no reason to feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for people who came here illegally and are now being told to get out. Feel sorry for them, because I have nothing to complain about. I live in the best country on earth. Look at this one. This is not the best country. Well, then don't come here. Don't block her. Don't block her. She's welcome to say that if that's her opinion. If her opinion is that we're not the best country, that's great. That's no problem. Don't come here. Listen, look at this one, y'all. Rodolfo says, why do you hate West Indians? I don't hate anybody. Let me ask you a question. Since you're asking questions, Rodolfo, why do you assume, or why do you translate an American loving their home as hating you? That's a very good question, and that's one that you should answer. You got to answer the question of, if someone loving themselves makes you feel hated, then what would loving you mean? Does loving you mean we have to hate ourselves? Does loving West Indians or Caribbean islands mean that we have to hate our country? That we have to put ourselves in the interest of our government, our safety, our sovereignty, our way of life? We have to put that last? Is that the only way you feel loved? You don't feel loved by us showing you human kindness, Christian kindness? That's not enough. That's not love. If we protect ourselves, you feel hated. You gotta sit with that for a minute, because if you protect yourself and protect your home, that's like saying if your neighbor locks their door at night, they hate you. Are you okay? America still gives out more aid than most any other place. It may be the most, but I haven't seen the numbers. So why on earth is us saying, yeah, we want to protect our way of life? Why is that hate to you? That doesn't sound right, unless you want us to believe that in order to love you, we have to harm ourselves. Because if that's what you're, asserting, you got to ask yourself, is that right? Look at Andrew D. Some of the worst educational attainment rates in the developed world. No problem, Andrew. Then leave our country to us. We'll fix it. We fix everything else. We fix everything else. We're only 249 years old. Give us a minute. Give us a minute. We're cooking. Let us cook. It's hard to cook when we got a bunch of people breaking in the kitchen, though. Pursuing greater reasons. Yes, the best country. The best country. And anybody who doesn't think our country is great, that's cool. I'm not mad at you. Everybody likes either Coke or Pepsi. No problem, right? But if you don't like our country, don't come. We like it here. We love it here. We love it here. Oh, look at Anthony. Anthony Espinosa says nationalism. Is that supposed to be a bad word? I don't see anything wrong with being a nationalist. Why? Like that's like saying it's bad to like your country. That's not a bad word to me. Hey, Hit Me Rock, welcome. Make sure you like my video. Ray says, am I West Indian? No. I'm an American from Ocala, Florida. Horse country. Born and raised. My daddy, my mama, Americans. Isn't that spooky? Isn't that just spooky? Keep trying to tell people that was half of the con of the Democratic Party. That was half the con. The con was, thank you, Hemi Rock. The con was to make specifically Black Americans feel like, oh, hate your country, don't love your country, align yourself. Laura, you're right. Andrew D is super ignorant. Align yourself with foreigners and immigrants. And if y'all didn't notice, I don't know if y'all noticed, but bye Cody. Like maybe a few years ago, they even stopped calling Black people Black. They started saying people of color, because they wanted to, like blend black Americans in with this group of people and create this super voting block for the Democratic Party so that they could push all of their nefarious agendas and not have to worry about it. So it's like we're going to grab people who are kind of on the fringe of society, alternative lifestyles, immigrants. We're going to grab black Americans and we're going to play with your racial trauma, the things that have harmed your parents and grandparents, and we're going to just needle and poke and pick, needle and poke and pick with your trauma and manipulate you with it so that you'll think that you identify with these people. That's a con game. It's a con game. Lord, this man said my eyes are dead. No, sugar, they're old. I'm a whole grandma. You get out of here. I'm telling you, they're weird. And right now, I think this is one of those times where they're seeing it's a little bit of a shift in America now. I think they see it's a little bit of a shift. And that the messaging from both sides, where we've had so many differences, so much squabbling and going on, I think they're starting to see that we're kind of harmonizing now. It's almost like for those of us that are church folks, and I hope it's a lot of us in here. I don't hate nobody. If you're not saved, it's okay. I'm not mad at you. I hope you get your heart right, but if not, it's cool, right? Those of us who are church folks, if y'all remember being in choir practice and you have one person is singing one note and the other person is singing another note and it just sounds bad. It sounds so bad. But now what's happening is the altos and the sopranos are somehow singing notes that are harmonizing. And that's why we see these people on the internet like daily crashing out. They are crashing out daily because it's like, wait, we were counting on white people and black people to be at each other's throats so we could come in and play both sides against the middle and steal everything. Whew. I'm just saying. Right, Lori, it was all about the voting block. That's all it was. That's all it was, girl. It was all about the voting block. Mm-hmm. Hi, Michael. Is that Pippenhagen? Welcome. Y'all forgive me. I'm squinting. I probably need glasses, but I don't want them. Richard says we are in the last days, but are in the beginning of sorrows. Well, we are in the last days, so get your heart right with God. Hey, Chanel Street. Ron says, this is what you get when people live on social media. Y'all have a good night. Well, you have a wonderful night too, dear. Right, Hemi Rock? Thank you, George Ebling. We are not falling for it. We're not falling for it. We're not doing it. We're not fighting with each other anymore. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. Any foreigners from any other place that have wandered in here, or like diehard liberals, who really believe in what they're doing, I apologize to you in advance, even though it's not really sincere. Well, let me say this. I apologize for any hurt feelings. But we're not doing it anymore. We're not fighting with each other anymore. I know everybody was enjoying the hair pulling and scratching and, the occasional, blouse tearing or whatever. We're not fighting anymore. We're not. Because it doesn't benefit either side. It only benefits outsiders. I'm not doing it anymore. Absolutely not. We're not doing it. It's over. I was supposed to be letting y'all see what went on in Portugal. Let me show y'all what Portugal did. Y'all got to see this. Hold on.
Hungary or Poland. This time it's actually coming from Portugal, if you can believe this. The quiet little country that doesn't usually make a lot of waves. They just get bullied by the EU and Brussels, and they get told what to do, and they get their hands forced on a regular basis. But Portugal's standing up to the rest of Europe. The once wide open socialist darling of Southern Europe has just slammed the brakes on mass migrations.
Hold on, let me pause real quick. HW is correct. Black preachers. I don't use that term African American because most people who are black in America, who are black Americans born here, We a lot of our people have never been to Africa. They have no connection to Africa, so we're gonna stick with Black Americans. Okay, all right. Thank you.
So they're seeing what's happening in Spain, France, the UK. Frankly, Portugal cannot afford to let that happen. Where you're seeing all of these riots, you're seeing, mass illegal immigration attacking innocent Spanish, like that elderly folks that were killed the other day in Spain, and now you have Spanish taking to the streets saying, "Get out! This is a Christian country. Get out of here. We want our borders closed." So, you see in the UK, of course, UK rapes are now through the roof. Crime is out of control. Civil services are being crushed to pay for illegal immigrants all across Europe, particularly in Portugal. Portugal, though, is saying enough. We're done. No more. Portugal's parliament just passed a landmark immigration reform bill that guts the so-called expressions of interest loophole. It's a policy that allowed illegal immigrants basically just to flood into the country and later then apply for legal status by showing that they had a job contract. So come on in, and use our services. But that's gone. Ciao. Ateja. Bye-bye.
So I have a hot take. AI is not just a bug.
Yeah, absolutely not. I don't want to grab nobody's commercials. But dig, that was a crazy policy. So their parliament put a stop to that. They went and voted. Always got my notes because I forget things, right? They voted to overturn that. So now there's no more. Like, what kind of policy is that? I honestly think if our system was not set up the way it was, I believe Biden would have tried it. Because the way they had it set up, the people could just flood in and get a job, and as long as they showed they had a job, they would just fast track them and give them citizenship, which I think is insane. And they just overturned that. So that's not happening anymore. M. Razik, I agree. We do want the Epstein files. I think everybody in the country agrees on that one. Out of everything that we bicker over as Americans, I think that is the one thing all of us agree on. We want those Epstein files. We want them. George says, this is the great Muslim push across the world, and it's by design. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself on that. Because I think there is Aries Sunset, also Pizzagate. I think that there's a reason that they're doing it. And I think the reason is very nefarious, but what do I know? Tower Time says our USA is not innocent. Of course not. We as a country have much blood on our hands and on our soil too. Don't forget that. On our hands and on our soil. And it doesn't change the fact that we have a right to live peacefully with safe borders and without our economic system being completely dismantled to take care of people who did not put one dime or drop of blood on this soil. It doesn't change anything at all. I agree, Westman. We need prosecutions. We do. Lori says the immigration policy exists for a reason. We can't just spend thousands per month on millions of unvetted people when we have tax-paying citizens still in need. Absolutely. So now, real quick, before we get to Act Blue, because I don't know if y'all heard about it, but I do want to kind of mention it and see, if y'all have thoughts or whatever. There are some interesting things happen, right? Some very interesting things that have been happening. So there is a group who calls themselves the African Union, which I think is kind of funny, right? I think it's kind of hilarious. Look at this person. Don't you people have a job? You come here to give opinions, not to do insults, dear. That's how you got blocked. And so this group that calls themselves the African Union, these people are such con artists. They are literally trying to find a way to leverage and use Black Americans suffering in America to say that they deserve reparations. Listen, y'all, I was in shock disbelief, and horror. Horror, pure horror. I couldn't believe it. I had to like check different sources to see if this was really true, if this was really happening, and it really was a thing. And then I saw where these people had been, of course, meeting with the Biden administration. One of the people who says she's in charge of this, reparations situation, she's from Nigeria. And Obama gave her some position or other where she's in charge of this thing where they're going to like mix us all together like we're not Americans. They're literally calling black people in America the sixth region of Africa. And I simply want to know, is it drugs or is it crack? Because we're not Africans. It seems silly. And I'm going to tell you what makes it very silly and dangerous, and the fact that liberals were doing these things and colluding with enemies of this country like this. They're trying to perpetrate fraud to defraud the US government and other Western governments out of money to send to Africa. To do what? To put it in the pockets of your corrupt leaders, leave your people dirt poor and still running and scrambling like rats from a sinking ship to America to still beg over here. So, what makes it so super silly is if you're holding on to some scrap that 400 plus years ago, you sold some people, some human trafficking, by the way, you violently attacked people who look like you, sold them to Europeans, the ones who did not die on the Middle Passage and actually survived and came over here, mixed with natives, mixed with everybody else, became what we currently call Black Americans. And you're holding on to that piece of distant genetic kinship, right? To me, if you hold on to that piece of distant genetic kinship, then you also got to own the fact that that kinship of the people that may be still here is a result of you committing human trafficking. And what makes that wild is if you committed human trafficking, wouldn't we need reparations from you too? You see the con there? Do you see the con? I'm with you, Hemi Rock. I'm with you. But what I'm saying is, number one, when you look at the numbers, there were more trafficked Africans taken to the West Indies, Brazil, Cuba, everything than they were to America. Let's get that straight. That's first and last. But even if you want to say this minute population of the people that you trafficked, that you harmed, that you violently took captive and sold their human bodies to these merchants, if any of their descendants are still here, you owe them reparations. Not just America or the people who benefited from their labor. You benefited from selling their freaking flesh. That's what makes it insane. That's what makes it insane. Like, I cannot take it. I mean, John Henry, let's not split hairs. Let's not split hairs. Because there was a whole lot of trafficking going on. Like, the world used to be a whole different place than it is right now. Let's not play stupid. Okay? Let's not be stupid. Let's not be stupid. What I'm saying is, if trafficking is happening, you got a seller, you got a buyer. You got a seller and you got a buyer. You got people that benefited from the labor and you got people that benefited from selling the flesh. I just thought it was ridiculous that people who participated, or the descendants, excuse me, since the word descendants is so popular, that the descendants of people who committed human trafficking are now asking for reparations for the people you sold. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't make it up. And in order for this kind of thing to actually work, Ibrahim, I'm willing to bet you $20 I'm not your sister. Willing to bet. In order for this scheme, this con job to work, they need black people and white folks to still keep scratching each other's eyes out. And that's what I'm saying. We need to stop scrapping because the outsiders, they see us fight. They don't know what we're fighting about. They don't know what our differences are. They don't know that after 400 years being on the same rock, we got more in common with each other than we do with anybody else. They're just looking to benefit from the tensions that we already have. The Lord only knows when we're going to fix them all. But they're looking to benefit from those tensions, and they're trying to grift off of chattel slavery that they participated in. I was just like, y'all, it was like God was whispering in my ear, like, Nitra, this is the scam. This is the scam. Because I kept trying to figure out, why on earth are Democrats like getting all of these weird people who kind of look black, but they're from different countries, and putting them on the news, Joy Reid, and putting them in politics, Kamala Harris. And they're constantly saying things about black people and getting black sense and trying to tell us about collard greens. Like, see, we're like y'all, you know, like my black eyed peas. Like they're doing this whole fake Southern affectation of their voices. And they keep trying to, you know, see racism and white supremacy. And it's like, this isn't real. And I kept seeing like the dots being connected. And I'm like, wait. So basically, the Democrats have a whole con with these folks that, you know, the fact that Democrats are willing to work with foreign entities against the U.S. is crazy, right? But the fact that you're willing to hustle and bustle these people in here, con black American people with generational trauma, manipulate them with the trauma, and then turn around and install people who are not even from here to grift and con black people with trauma that they don't know anything about. Joy Reid has one parent from Guyana and one from the Congo. But we never saw her get on the news. Never once saw her get on the news and talk about what's happening in the Congo. I have made a couple of pieces of content about what's going on. Thank you for unhiding Lori. Lori's my girl. I know that was an accident. We've never seen it. She doesn't do it. She doesn't. But what she will do is jump in front of that camera, pretend to be a black American woman, and try to manipulate black America with generational trauma. And they're only doing that because they need us to fight with each other so they can walk right in the front door. Because Biden threw the door open. Just walk right in the door and steal everything. And I kept saying it didn't feel right. And something was wrong with that. Siobhan says more black Americans, speak about what's going on in the Congo than her. She doesn't care nothing about the Congo. She's here to steal. She's a con artist and a grifter. An unattractive con artist. That wasn't nice. Sorry. Okay, Sean Williams says slavery has been all throughout global history. Term slave comment. Why are you telling us about the slave stuff? Like, we're not here for that. We're not here for that. Rapid Fire says a debt owed has nothing to do with anything else. It's owed, but your own laws, by your own laws, is owed. Don't go trying to attach anything to it. Reparations is a debt. What are you talking about? What does that have to do with the African Union teaming up with our own Democratic Party? Mind you, the same people who wanted to keep black people on plantations and who started the Ku Klux Klan are working with these African con artists to grift money. Because please explain to me how what's legally owed to black Americans should be paid to Africa, when the West African, Central African countries that participated in selling human bodies would have a debt of their own. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't be so emotional that you get triggered and start arguing points that no one's ever made. Doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It's not logical. Like I told y'all, a lot of times when people have different opinions, I can usually see both sides of a thing. I cannot see a logical side to generational suffering of Black American people means money for Africa. I fail to see the connection. I'm just saying. Fail to see the connection. Barbara says, I can't think of his name, but I believe the biggest slave owner in the South used to be a Black man that lives in South Carolina. Yeah, I don't believe that, but there were absolutely some Black slave owners. That's true. But the biggest, I'm just not going to believe that because that sounds foolish. Wave It's Wolf says, keep us divided so we fall. Us against the elites of the world. That's exactly what's going on. That's what's going on. And they need, in order for it to work, they need us at each other's throats. In order for it to work. It won't work unless we're like attacking each other. We got, in order for it to work, that's what we got to do. That's it. That's what we got to do. We got to stop fighting. There's the only thing we can do to like stop these people because they are really nefarious. They're very evil. And the only way we're going to stop them is to stop fighting. Honestly, we got to stop fighting and just sit down and let them hang themselves. Sarah Bond says no logic in someone getting paid twice for the same BS. I agree. Melvin says my dog ate my Popeyes. Well, I'm very sorry. Jelani says I'm actually surprised Blacks waking up to the bull. Well, if you stop referring to people as the Blacks, you'll probably get a better result. How about let's just say the Americans? Let's do that, okay? Because that doesn't sound nice, does it? The Blacks. You ever think about that? The Blacks. No, Mob, I don't do African American because most of the people here, they have no connections to Africa. So that's just rude. It's just rude. There's no other group of Americans that have a continental identifier placed in the beginning. So I'm not doing that. Cheese Crust says most of the Americans have never been to Africa. And you're right. And most of them don't want to go. Most of them don't want to go. Right, George Ebling. It would be rude to be like the whites. No, we're Americans. Some, the reality is some people are white, some people are Black, but we just Americans. We're just Americans. We watch football. We don't watch soccer. We watch basketball. We eat greasy food. We play, we joke. We laugh, we raise our kids. We all had daddies that scratched and passed gas at the worst times ever. Most of us grew up in churches with preachers that did not know when to shut up, and we were just praying that man would say the benediction so we could go home. We are Americans. Like, these other people don't have very much in common with us, and you see when they come over here, they don't want to have anything in common with us. They don't want to blend in. They don't want to learn anything about who we are. They don't want to participate. They come in, they bring their own culture, and then they try to assert it over everybody else. And that is what's wrong. That's what's wrong. And that's what we got to put a stop to. Siobhan says, I would love to visit Rwanda or Egypt because I'm a history buff, but Ghana and Nigeria I have no desire to visit. Yeah, I think traveling is great. Visit, go see stuff. And unfortunately, when Americans travel, we spend money with people. We contribute when we show up. We don't just show up and say, give me a spending card. We don't do that because who would give us one? That's all I'm saying. Who would? Y'all don't be arguing about slavery in my chat. That was too long ago. Please. Sonny says, so blacks determined to complain and be separate, stir up. I don't know what you're talking about. And I keep telling you, stop with the blacks. This is not a place for you to come with the blacks. We're Americans over here. And if you don't want to just be an American, then please leave. Help yourself. Because one of my mods will get you eventually. Alvaro says, that's America, baby, ever since before it was the United States. Hey, Eric, thank you. Lori says, right, asking if they're willing to learn English is suddenly offensive. Right. It just seems crazy. Okay. I'm trying to keep up with comments. Y'all are typing fast. Thank you, Paul Warner. All Americans in here. We're all Americans. I mean, I know we got some people who are coming to, hang out with us a little bit. Neon, Alicia. Okay, well, Quiet Storm got rid of you. Wave It's Wolf. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was sweet. Takino says, I'm African American, never pretend to be black or race because we are tribal. I don't know who you are. We're Americans over here. And I'm suspecting that you're not. Something tells me that either your birth certificate or that of your parents has another country on it. Now, I'm not going to throw you out. Just be aware of where you are, okay? Because if you say the wrong thing, my mods will get you. Okay? I don't want them to have to get you. Right, Sarah, talking about tribal people. Who the hell are the tribal people? My mama was raised in Vienna, Georgia. And my daddy was raised in Ocala. So where are the tribal people? Galactic Atoll Production says, greeting from Australia. Greetings. And we got another one that thinks it's time to interview me. Okay. Topaz Smith, don't come here and insult white folks either. I don't know what white guilt is. It sounds very unpleasant, but let's not do that here. We're not here to insult anybody. My whole message, and it's going to always be the message, is that we cannot tussle and fight with each other. We cannot. We are Americans. Matrix says, we were not here first. My parents are in their 70s, not 200 years old. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm glad your parents that are 70 are still alive. Okay. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Okay. Ascension 5D Earth, you're not sounding like a victim. Gonna offend all those that like to play that card. You are not a victim. Good for you. Yeah, no. Hey, James Riggs. Jared wants to know what's on their parents' birth certificates. Well, there's another little thing, that is a bit of an issue too. And I think that it can kind of fly under the radar. Because you do have first generation immigrants whose families brought them over, and they may have paperwork or whatever, but these people are still not a part of our collective. They are not a part of our culture. So they may be here legally, and I heavy on maybe because we don't really know, and they may be able to blend in and speak like we speak and not have accents and all that stuff. And sometimes they can fly under the radar. And sometimes those are the people who are keeping up all of the arguing, all of the dissension, all of the tension, all of the conflict. So we have to be aware of things like that. Because a lot of the people who, especially on social media, because anybody can hide behind a profile. And let's just say you got this guy, Vitaly from the Ukraine, who, I'm benefiting from this scam. And I need white folks and black folks to just keep on scratching and arguing. Vitaly could easily jump on social media, pretend to be a white supremacist and start calling people bad names to stir the pot. Same thing can happen if you got, good old Winston from Jamaica who's also benefiting from this scam to jump online or go in public even and pretend to be a black American and start saying a bunch of nasty stuff and calling names to stir the pot. All I'm saying is we have to be aware. We have to stop fighting with each other and pay attention, because right now we can't afford to fight with each other. We have enemies who are in the house. Like, think of it like a good old action movie or a survival movie. There's a monster outside and you're in the house with like 4 of your cousins that you don't get along with real good because y'all's mamas weren't friends. You're going to have to learn how to work together. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We got to think. We have to think. We cannot be emotional. We have to be logical. George says, I'm so glad you have a troll delete. Thank you. He said, cheers to the troll demolisher. My mods don't play. They don't play. Vicky says, God's children or anyone who obeys him. I agree with that. I agree with that. Hey, Rand. So that's the thing. I can't say your name. It looks like Christmas something. But yeah, no propaganda. Like, don't believe anything. Don't argue with anybody. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Okay. Just trying to get by. Are you against birthright citizenship? I'm not against, and I keep telling y'all, don't question me. Give me your opinions. But I'll answer this time. I'm against people like gaming the system. The 14th Amendment was written specifically for the children of chattel slavery. That has nothing to do with Eduardo, jumping the border, or some Asian person who snuck in at the border, or somebody from wherever that snuck in at the border. It has nothing to do with that. And so it being misused for people it was never intended for, I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. I think that's terribly wrong. It's patently wrong. Hope that helps. Right, Patrick. It's a discussion, not a fight. Pat Hancock, it's your first time? Welcome. Pat says, this is my first time on your channel. I'm so proud of you bringing up the subject. In my opinion, anyone born in America is a natural born American. We all have the same color blood. Lori says, birthright citizenship got here illegally. That's not fair for those who do it right. I agree with that too. What petition? Why are y'all asking me stuff that I don't know? I keep telling y'all, give me your opinions. Don't do that. Okay. Okay. Tammy says, here's a thought from Tammy. Hi, Tammy. Tammy says, my great-great-grandmother was born in California before the Mexican border was put in place. Then we were put on the other side. Now I'm first-generation American citizen. My roots started here. But actually, no, they didn't, Tammy. Because, and I'm not being rude, I promise. Because if your people were in an area and a war was fought for any reason, and the wars are wars, like they're not pleasant, they're ugly, that's why I'm against them. But if a war was fought, the side that won. So before that happened, that area where your great-great-grandma was born was not America. It was a piece of land that is now owned by America. You see how that works? You see how that works? Like, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work. You can look all over the world and borders have changed due to war and invasion and different stuff. The problem is we're making sure that the borders never change again. And if Mexico lost the war, it's unfortunate. Like I said, wars are bad. But unless you're going to wage another war to reclaim the land, then the land is still owned by who won the last war, meaning America. So when your grand lived there, it was Mexico. So your grand was never American. So yeah, you would be a first generation. That's kind of how that works. I mean, you could say that, but your roots are Mexican. And right now, California is American. And that's the problem. California is American. So, there's that. And it's not, a nice thing to talk about, but it's life. Like, reality all the time isn't pleasant, but it's always reality, right? Hold me some comments. Lori says that's how it was done. Land was conquered, countries were created, governments organized, and sovereign nations created. True. Here's another one that doesn't know the difference between a country and a continent. Wow. Jason Gibson says you got to understand people are insane and unable to accept that history was crazy and it happened and move on. Right. Ting Zing says, I don't think there's a moral argument for might makes right, and I don't think there's a net positive to othering rhetoric. I don't really know what you mean with that. And if you're talking about wars, I don't think wars are great, but wars happened. And once wars have happened, we can't pretend they didn't happen. And so once a part of the land becomes part of a sovereign nation, it's a part of a sovereign nation. That's our border. The border isn't going to change because we want to go back and, that war wasn't nice. We can't do it when it came to the what was it? France and England and Germany and England and Germany and France, and there were wars everywhere. Like, sometimes people got to cut the crap. I'm sorry. At some point, people have got to cut the crap. Wars were a part of history, and even right now, wars are happening. Most of us are begging our president and anybody who sits in that seat, do not fund any more wars, not with our money, and the fact that it's just overall not a good thing to do. So we don't want more. I don't think many people want more wars, but the wars happened and we can't pretend they didn't. We can't. Jason, thank you for asking him that, because I wasn't even going to respond. Because I don't think we hate anybody. I think that everybody wants a chance to live. And I don't like the idea that people are behaving like Americans don't have a right to want to just live. Like, we want to live too. We do. We want to live. So we don't want to take your life, but we're not going to let you take away our lives and livelihoods and property and everything we work for either. Not when you got families here that are, 10, 12, 14, and 16 generations deep. Why the hell would they just give up everything because you just simply would like to be here too? And you don't want to do it the right way. That's not right. Galactic says ICE and the Trump administration, he had a white supremacist over for dinner. What does his dinner have to do with our borders? And let me put this in the chat too. Okay. All right. So for the ladies in the chat, I just put our Facebook group. He mentioned ICE and it made me remember. I know some of the ladies who were here last time were talking about we wanted to do something to support our ICE agents because they are doing a very hard job, a very stressful job. And I think that they're in a spot where they're being treated not so nice, and they're really just doing their jobs. And it's a job they should not even really have to do, to be honest. The problem should have never been created. But over the last 4 years, the job now has to be done. Look at this weirdo. Do not block Prosy. I want to see what they're talking about. Calling me a grifter. Read the verse, grifter. What verse are you talking about? Why are you being so rude? I bet you this is a foreigner. Leviticus 19:34, the stranger who dwells among... Oh, child, listen. I would tell you to go to hell, but God don't want you to go to hell either. But you might want to get out of my chat. I'll go ahead and block you now. I thought you had something important for me to read. But don't go to hell. Please pray. Okay. But the Facebook group is in the chat. I'll put it in there a couple more times. And this is for ladies only. This is a American Christian ladies group. So we can organize as women, as ladies. You know, a lot of us are homemakers. A lot of us are, already retired and stuff. So please go join the Facebook group so we can get together and we can organize. But this is a space for ladies only, okay? I'm sure there are some gentlemen that can come up with some great ideas and, then the men can kind of do man stuff. But for the ladies, we're going to stick to ladies things. We're going to stick to ladies things, right? Neb says the border has been a political issue for decades. Well, that border is not going to change. It's not really an issue. The only issue is we're going to respect that border. And anyone who sneaks across that border illegally, then, our gentlemen who work at ICE and, law enforcement, I'm sure they know what to do. Hi, Mark Wembley. Hi, Tariq Khan. Aries says, Big Sis, you have patience giving American history. People believe their truth is facts. It's not American history. That's true, too. Very true. Okay, Lori says, how do we join the group? Click the link. I'm going to put it in the chat again, Lori, so you can grab it. Just click the link. It'll take you to Facebook. And it's going to ask you like a couple of questions, and then you should be able to get in there. Okay. But yeah, I kind of, y'all know I'm old fashioned, so I believe in ladies doing ladies things. And I think that ladies groups should kind of stick to, ladies. Because, men can be a little rough sometimes. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I think ladies should, kind of have our own spaces. Jason said borders will likely remain unchanged now that people are civilized. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, wars are not as rampant as they used to be. I hope it never goes back that way. But, hold on. Okay. Oh, it's not clickable. It's not letting y'all click. Okay. So I don't know what to do to make it stop. Okay. So hold on. Thank you for telling me. I thought y'all were able to click it because on this screen, like on my phone, it's a hyperlink. It's in blue. So I could click it. So I thought y'all could click it. Let me get the name of the group and put it in the chat. And maybe that'll help. Hold on. Y'all, I'm having the world's worst hot flash right now. Reason number 2,000 why we need just ladies. You said screenshot it, go to the phone to click it. Oh, that's what she's telling y'all to do. Screenshot it and go to the phone to click it. I'm going to put the name of the group in there, though. Hold on. It is the group is American Christian Ladies. So it should be easy to find. It's like it's got an American flag. It's got a pie. Like it's not hard to find, I don't think. Oh, also, y'all, it's on the I just thought about that. I'm so goofy. It's on the community tab. It's on the community tab, like the tab that says post for the channel. You can click it from there too. Okay. This one says, what verse did Jesus say, report thy neighbor and put him in camps? What verse did he say, allow people to invade your country? We can play this game all night. Oh, I know what I meant to ask y'all about. Did y'all see that Trump is suing? Who all is he suing? Let me get it. Y'all know my eyes are bad and my mind is worse. Hold on. I was shocked, but not really. So he's suing for defamation Apparently that Trump letter thing that came out. Yep, Murdoch, Wall Street Journal. Yep, it's a bunch of them. So y'all know about it. So I don't have to go dig all that up. But what did y'all think about that? I was like, whoa. It's getting hot. It is getting hot. I don't even know what to think. Like at this point, I am like Miss Celie from The Color Purple. I'm sitting back to see what colors they put on the wall because not a lawsuit. He's already sued CBS and ABC. Now we're suing the Wall Street Journal, Murdoch, and a few others. So I'm just kind of like, holding on to my forehead. I'm like, what in the world am I seeing? Mm-hmm. Scary business. Yeah. Dow Jones and Company, I guess that's for the Wall Street Journal. Joseph Palazzo, Keith Rupert Murdoch, Khadija Safdar, and News Corporation. Yeah, he's suing those people. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. So, I don't know. Tell me what y'all think. Right, Jason? Because that was kind of crazy. Let me tell y'all what else I saw that was like, had me holding my forehead like, Lord help us. Okay. So, y'all know Tulsi Gabbard is my girl. I love Tulsi. That's my girl. Can't nobody say nothing crazy about Tulsi. I love Tulsi Gabbard. Y'all, I had to like scratch my head. Ooh. Tulsi declassified some stuff. Let me read you what's being said, y'all. She's declassified proof of treason by Obama. I said, oh, wow. This ought to be good. Mike, I asked the questions here. Give me your opinion. So this is what's here, and then I'm going to look at this document, child. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just declassified proof of treason by President Obama. I've never in my life seen the intelligence community declassify proof of their own crimes against the American people. The evidence is astonishing. So, U.S. intel admitted Russia did not hack the 2016 election. Obama pushed the Russia hoax to sabotage Trump. The Steele dossier was fake. Well, we found that out before. But Comey used it anyway. Brennan and Clapper entrenched the hoax deep into the intel community and punished whistleblowers. Corporate media was used to launder the fake government propaganda relentlessly. The Russia probe was an insurrectionist plan to take down Trump. They knew Russia didn't interfere in the election, yet they fabricated intelligence to justify a years-long effort to overthrow Trump. This was a deliberate campaign of treason aimed at removing a legitimately elected president. Treason is exposed. We have names. Oh. Quiet Storm, I was clutching my pearls too. I was tempted to put my pearls on so I could clutch them. So, yeah, she did that. Tulsi did that. What? Okay, I'm not saying anything. What are y'all's opinions on this? What say the crowd? What do y'all say about this? Oh, come on. Y'all got opinions on everything else. What y'all say about this? FJB said, that's amazing. I love Tulsi too. Yeah, Tulsi's my girl. Siobhan says, very interesting that Cali girls got her eyes stretched open. Baby, Tulsi declassified it and put it out there for everybody to see. Ooh, Jackie's got the game over emojis. Okay, no. Jackie, George is my guy. George is my dude. No, unhide him. He was, being glib, and I agree. She does have brass ovaries. She does. That is my girl. Okay, Miss DJ says, I've been waiting so long for justice, girl. Listen, me too. I was just shocked. Like, honestly, I was shocked. Not shocked that Obama did it, because y'all know I don't like him. But I was just shocked that, number one, that they were stupid enough to leave proof. And I was shocked that it was declassified. I was like, whoa, whoa. Jackie said, I knew he was guilty. Me too. Me too. But I'm shocked. Like, he's been so protected and insulated. Like, the only thing left is the Epstein files. Like, that's all I'm waiting on now. Oh, and some real dirt on Hillary, because she's sick of her, over her, over her. Hold on, what am I hearing? Over her, over her. Wait. Hey, Boho Daisy, welcome. FJB says, I'm wondering about a thing with President Trump, but I'm hanging on. He's always good for his word, but Epstein, right. I'm kind of watching. I'm like, look, now we trying to give you a chance to do what you need to do. We need them files. Keena Jenkins, that man is not a Black American, number one. Number two, I don't care who's wrong. If you're wrong, I want you to be held accountable. Identity politics don't work over here. Just because you have a tan that makes your skin similar to mine does not mean you're going to get away with anything. I want people held accountable. I don't want anybody to have absolution. I don't want anybody to feel like they are above the law, because you're not. The law is only as good as everyone who is held to it. A bum on the street and the president of the United States should be held to the same standard. And anytime we have anyone who is above the law and cannot be held accountable, then the law itself has to be thrown out. So no, I don't care about that. I want the Epstein files. What do you mean, what about the Epstein? Girl, are you okay? Are you good? First, you think that somehow, because he has a tan, that he should be above the law. Then you're asking me about the same files I'm saying I want too. I want the Epstein files, because everybody in them, I want them held accountable. I don't believe in playing favorites. And somehow, see that right there, that automatic thinking, that skin tone should entitle you to support from Black Americans, it does not work that way. Right, FJB? Because that's what I had to ask. Are you okay? Absolutely not. Those days are done and over. Dead and about to be buried. Dead and about to be buried. They're already stinking. They're already stinking. Done. It's been declassified. Like, what do you want us to do? He committed the act. He committed the crime. What do you want us to do? Pretend it didn't happen? What do you want us to do? Pretend it didn't happen? We got us another one, y'all. No, Alex Andromeda. I want anybody who has broken the law to be held accountable, regardless of your complexion. Your complexion should not protect you by any means on any end of the spectrum. I don't care if you are alabaster pale or if you are as dark as 3 a.m. If you break the law, you need to be held accountable. And I will not go running around covering myself in ashes and sackcloth because your complexion is similar to mine. If you break the law, you are subject to the law. Like, there's no way around that. I'm just not understanding where that idea would even come from. Where would it come from? She says Trump is going to get away. Well, go chase him. Go chase him. Thank you, Joe. Christopher Lundy said, what makes you vote for one politician versus another? If I can agree with what your platform is. And that's the only thing that should make you vote for a politician. because usually politicians are not good people. So if their platform more or less aligns with your standards, your views, your morals, your ethics, then vote there, right? Isn't that the best thing to do? Right, Boho, Daisy. Nothing protects you if you break the law of the land. All this stuff trying to make like what was that supposed to do? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I was talking about it earlier. That was the game plan. So people who are not even one of us, if their complexion is close, they want to put this onus on Black Americans. We got to run in, charge in, bare our claws, arg, and fight for these people to be able to break the law. You're insane if you think I'm doing that. I wasn't that silly when I was young. That's foolish. Richard Faro says, what do you think would pay for what was done to Black people who... Why are you asking me that? Give us your opinion. Stop trying to interview the host. Christopher says, another one trying to interview the host. Give me your opinion. Don't come here to interview. Participate in conversation. Don't be weird. Don't be socially awkward. It's okay. Joe says, don't censor people's speech. Well, Joe, this is my platform and not yours. And if you say something that's too ridiculous, I'm going to block you. And it's not going to matter. You have free speech, but you just won't be able to speak it where we can hear you. You have to speak it somewhere else, right? Okay. All right, all right. Vicky says Christians ought to forgive. That's right. I'm a Christian, and I believe that you're supposed to forgive. You forgive, yeah. Doesn't mean you have to let people mistreat you, but you can forgive them and still change the nature of your relationship with the person, right? Like I can forgive you and say, well, no, I can't let you back in my house because last time you were here, my TV came up missing. So I'm not still holding it against you. I'm not angry with you, but I do have to learn from your behaviors and I have to change the way I relate to you. And I think that's one of the things people get twisted with Christians is that they think because we're Christians that they can just abuse us. And somehow our Christianity forces us to just take abuse. That's not how that works. George says the funny little thing is when we are working together, nobody cares what race you are. Right. Makes you kind of feel like it's a setup, doesn't it? Hey, Carmen. Welcome. Jack, you can block yourself. Why on earth would you beg me to block you? AUX says law doesn't constitute morality. Now, that's a great opinion, as a matter of fact. Let's get into it. See, this is what I like, the opinions, even if it's one of those things that makes you use your brain. I love it. Now, Ox, I do agree with you with that. Say that. Ox says law doesn't constitute morality. That is absolutely true. But in a system where you do have a rule of law and you do have a bit of a social contract, there are steps that you take when you feel like a law that is on the books that everyone is agreeing to is immoral. What you do is that you have the people who represent you in our legislative branch to legislate changes to that law that you feel is immoral. You don't simply just break the law. That's where we get into the weeds because we have people that feel like, oh, it's immoral, so I'm just not going to obey the law. And then you get yourself into trouble because until that law is changed, you're still going to be subject to punishment for the law you just broke. So I absolutely agree. Like anywhere in the world, this place over the last few hundred years has been a lot of laws that are immoral, some that may be immoral now. But the way you fix that is not by breaking the law. It's by having your representatives to go and write legislation to change it. That's when we start getting into crazy stuff because now you're not obeying the law and you're actually just creating chaos. And how does that help anybody? This Mucor person, this is your second time in my chat asking questions. If you don't have an opinion, you're going to have to leave, dear. You see how Ox brought something thought provoking that was decent? That's what's up. Joseph Erickson, it was okay. I feel pretty good. I got the hot flashes. And it's a funny thing happening with my knee. I think it's arthritis, but I've been using what is it? Magnesium oil. And I'm not sure if it's working yet. But thanks for asking how I'm feeling. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Right, George Ebling. As Christians, we do forgive quickly. Kina, what do you mean? Where does it leave us if Obama goes down? What does it have to do with me? Did I ask him to break the law? Sister, I never asked him to break the law. I never met the man. I wouldn't want to. He doesn't seem like my kind of person. But the law that he broke, I wasn't involved. I didn't drive the getaway car. I didn't hold any loot. Like I'm not a co-defendant. So if he, as you say, goes down for breaking the law, what on earth does that have to do with me? I'm just saying. I can't testify for him. I can't even be a character witness. That's so crazy. Marco, don't just tell us that somebody's full of hypocrites. Tell us why. Explain. Express. Like, don't be shy. Please don't feel. Let me be clear, okay, Mucor? Don't feel as though because you're in a space where there's a lot of independent voices, conservative voices, that you can't express your opinion. You can. You can have strong opinions. Just as long as you're not insulting anybody, tell us what you feel. Express yourself. Don't be shy because nobody's going to attack you. Because if I catch somebody attacking you, my moderators are going to get you out of here, or are going to get them out of here, or I'm going to get them out of here. So you say someone is full of hypocrites. Tell us why. I want to know why. I want to know, give me a full thought, what you're thinking and why you're thinking it. Give it to me. Vicky says we're to forgive 70 times 7. Jason, even if no one asks. That's true. We are. Althea says she's watching. You're watching them. You're watching the Republicans do what? Right, Miss DJ. All sides are hypocrites. Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to the government. I've never seen a good politician. I don't know one. AWAX, good morning. Newcourt says the devil exists because no, the devil exists because he was created and then he rebelled against God and then he became the devil. Unless you're saying like he chose to be the devil, which he kind of did. Kind of did. But he existed before he decided to be the devil. Christopher says laws are being written by folks that take tons of money. That's true. Y'all, Chris is cooking. That take tons of money in campaign contributions and they write laws for their donors, not voters. That's right. Christopher's right, y'all. That's right. That's what they do. And they're never held accountable. And I think as citizens, we have a right to hold them accountable. Listen, y'all know there's a such thing as checking people's congressional voting record. There's a way to check the legislation that these people vote on. Like if you see them voting yes on stuff, y'all know we can get online and read these bills. Read the bills. I don't care if it's long. I know a lot of the bills are super long. They have a lot of fluff. Take your time and read the bills. If you see that your congressman or your senator is like, waving green flags on stuff that you don't agree with, get them out of there. Hold these people accountable because listen, as long as y'all don't hold them accountable, they're going to stay there and they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep lining their pockets, taking money from lobbyists and special interest groups, and you're going to be online clamoring for this, adding them on Twitter and all that stuff, and they are going to ignore what you're saying, and they're going to vote in favor of the people who put money in their pockets. So you're absolutely right. But listen, we are the people. Like, vote these people out. Look at their voting record. Look at the legislation they write. Look at what they're voting yes to. Look at what they're voting no to. And hold their feet to the fire. That's all I'm saying. Like, the people have more power than we act like. I think it's like easier to say, "Oh, we can't do anything," because the minute you accept the power that you do have, the things that you can do something about, then now you're accountable for what's happening around you. It's no longer this, anonymous they. Then you have to look in the mirror and be like, well, I didn't hold this person accountable. I didn't go read the bills that they were voting on. I didn't go read the legislation that they wrote. I didn't go see if they were looking out for my interests or whether they were just looking out for these corporations and they didn't care if I got hurt. It's like once you do that, then you got to put some of that onus back on you. These people are, I mean, like, honestly, the people who've been around for a while, y'all know me, y'all know, um, hey man, I don't trust Democrats or Republicans. Like, if you really want to know the truth, I don't. I don't. But with that being said, I'm calling out anybody. I don't care who you are. If you do something bad or you do something that's dangerous to the way we have to live, then I'm calling you out. And on the on the converse side, if you're doing something that I think is beneficial for me, my family, and other people like us who work for a living, then I'm going to support you. And I don't care whether you're wearing red or blue or plaid or polka dots. I don't care if you come up with a new party and call them the Midnight Talker. I legit don't care. But just because you're a Democrat and y'all got this whole con game going that, oh, like Biden went to the Breakfast Club. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Sir, you are a liar. You are a liar. I've been, this color my whole life and I did not vote for him and I would never. And it's not because of, oh, it's just because he's Democrat. No, it's because your voting record says that I shouldn't. It's because your history says that I shouldn't. It's because while you were a young senator, you lied about your education even. You said more racist, hateful stuff about black people, hell, about immigrants than I ever have in my entire life. Nothing about that man said I was going to vote for him. So I think it's just a matter of we have to research these people before they get our votes. We need to find out who they are, what they stand for, and then we have to stand for something. That's all. We have to stand for something. Dang, Mucor kept on till he got blocked. Wouldn't give us a complete thought, and I guess he held on long as he could before he started spitting out insults. Ox says we're so close to class consciousness. Man, what is class consciousness? Please regale us. Regale us. You know what? Westman, 78. He brought up Jasmine Crockett. I'm going to give y'all my opinion on her. Because you gave me your opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion on her. I think that she is the worst kind of con artist. I do. I think she's the worst kind of con artist. I think that she's dangerous. I think that she has no moral compass. And overall, a very bad person. And not that bright either. I'm not fond of her. Now, Christopher, I said I wasn't doing no more questions, but I'm going to answer you real quick, but give me your thoughts. Put everything in the form of a thought. And then when I see it, I'll give you my thought on it. But to be fair, I don't know. Because Christopher wanted to know. And I'm now, since I'm going to take the question, I'm going to give it to all of you because maybe y'all have an idea. Okay. He says, how do you think we motivate people of any race, creed, party, etc. to be more active? And I'm answering honestly, I don't know, Chris. I don't know. I think we're in such a spot where even trying to convince Americans to stop fighting with each other, even that will start a fight. Like, I haven't said anything offensive about anybody all the whole time I've been in here, and my moderators have had to block umpteen people for just spitting out insults and venom and vitriol and ad hominem attacks, right? So what on earth could we do to make them be more active? We can't even get a lot of people to listen to reason or participate in a conversation if someone has a difference of opinion. You see what I'm saying? It's like the people who set out to manipulate the American people have done such a good job that they have, like, almost successfully stamped out discourse because they don't want us to talk. If we sit down and talk, we figure out that we don't have as big of a chasm between us as we would like to think. And so the key is keep up stuff, instigate, race bait, call one the devil and one the angel, play morality politics and all that stuff. So that way, the minute someone disagrees with your viewpoint, you automatically see them as this horrible person that you need to insult and attack rather than listen to why they may not agree with what you think. Like, my whole idea for why I even started this channel was because I wanted everybody to be able to sit down and talk because I saw what was happening. We couldn't talk. You sit down and talk, the minute they find out you don't vote like them or you don't agree with certain things. And I was starting to try to figure out, like, why was that happening and why nobody else was seeing it. George says, I just want our jobs, housing, resources for American citizens, especially our downtrodden, me too, homeless, jobless, and resourceless people who are truly hurting and being ignored by everyone, especially our vets. Paul Hancock says, we have to stand for something or we'll fall for anything. I agree. Right, Jackie. Jasmine Crockett makes everyone, all of us, look bad. Keena says she's been fighting for us. Okay, Keena. Which legislation did Jasmine Crockett write to benefit? I'm assuming you mean Black Americans because I haven't seen anything, and I kind of keep my finger on the pulse of what's happening. I've not seen it. I mean, and I'm not being glib. I promise you, I'm asking earnestly, what legislation has she written? Please. Because the sound bites, the neck twirling and stuff, the extra deep African American or Black American vernacular that she uses is not even hers. I'm not sure how that helps anybody. I think it actually only serves to perpetuate stereotypes that are not accurate. Not even for her, because I've heard her voice and how she speaks on a regular basis, and what she's doing now is not genuine. It's divisive, it's manipulative, and it's insulting to the same Black people she's trying to manipulate, but I'm going to be quiet. I'm just, I'm waiting for Keena to let me know about Ms. Crockett's legislation. Ox says class consciousness refers, thank you for answering me, Ox. Class consciousness refers to the awareness and understanding of one's social class and its implications, particularly in relation to the economic and political structures of society. That's decent. And you say you want Americans or just globally, you want everybody globally to get to that place. That sounds nice. Grigory Rasputin. Nice name. We're all on the same side. Are we? Are we? In a way, right? That's one way to look at it. I like it. Quiet Storm says money tends to be a big motivator for a lot. It's sad. How low is your dignity and humanity in these days, right? Ox says it's basically coming together as the working class to kick out the people in power that don't have our interests at heart. I like it. Ox, I like that. Thank you for sharing that. Ooh, Puddle Gum is cooking. Hey, Puddle Gum. Puddle Gum says, Ox, you know what's fun about class consciousness? The rich are organized. They are educated and have the means to get class consciousness and then mess and manipulate the consciousness of others. That's true. But you know what, though, Puddle Gum? If working class people, I'm going to assume most of us in here are working class people. You know, if you're like me and you're retired, my husband still works, but I don't. Um, or, you know, stay at home moms, whatever the case. I think we're all right around. I want to believe that most of us are, you know, kind of around the same, you know, strata, right? We have to be responsible for ourselves in that we don't allow ourselves to be emotional. We cannot be emotional. Because if you are emotional and people can play with your emotional triggers, if people can, you know, based on your demographic, play with your triggers, with your traumas, they can manipulate you. That's why they're able to do it. Because you're right, they do have the money to mess with your consciousness. They have the money to sit down with foreign countries and plot on how to keep us at each other's throats. They have the money to, you know, pay the news media to only post certain stories. Or like if ICE agents are picking up people, they're only going to show certain scenes to make it look like, oh, it's so, you know, this is something that's so dangerous, it's so bad. Like, you're right. We are fighting their bad intentions and their money. And so those of us who are not the rich and the elite, we have to be more logical and less emotional, because if not, we're going to keep getting the rope-a-dope. Jason Gibson said Jasmine Crockett changed the way she talks and she made like 15K or less as a lawyer at her own firm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did. That's why I keep saying, like, racial identity politics is not smart, because just because someone has the same complexion as you, it does not mean that they mean you well. Jasmine meant to line her pockets. She did not mean to go and be a public servant and help people with her complexion. She meant to line her pockets. The only color she was concerned with was green. Christopher says, agreed and understood. My thought is, let's approach topics because we want a better country. We just disagree how. Bingo. That, see, this is why I like talking to people, because what you just said is what it is. We all basically want the same stuff. We just disagree on how we get there. So the key is we can't be emotional because somebody else has a different idea on how we get there. We just all got to agree on where we want to get to. So whether you use a paper map or GPS or you got a divining rod, I don't care. I may think all of your ideas to get there is batty, but I'm going to listen to them, because while I might not think it's great, you might have a point, as long as the end result is we get to the location. Chris, you got it. Okay. Yep, Lori, they have absolutely sold division. Martyr Comer says, I don't even want to talk about Jasmine Crockett. I dislike her so much. Yeah, same. No, but I'm gonna be honest, Marty, I had to pray. I had to pray because, like, it got to where, because I have a gossip channel, and you know, so you know, if you gossiping, you got to go online and see what's happening and research stuff before you talk about it. And it got to where every time I saw her face, I caught myself just, you know, with the wrong attitude, and I had to pray it off. But I feel you. Right, Ox, they are afraid of what happens if we're educated. And this is the thing. A lot of middle class people are educated. Like, we are not walking around here like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel. But what happens is, because most people who are working class or middle class or whatever, you work to pay your bills. You don't have ease of life. Rich people have ease. We don't have ease of life. So that's why I think it's easier to manipulate working class people because you have stresses that they don't have. You have stresses like your mortgage. You have stresses like the septic tank just messed up. We got to fix the septic tank, or we got to put a roof on the house. They have money. So those things are not stresses to them. So we got stresses that they don't have. And so we can tend to be emotional or more emotional in our response to things because we have things to deal with that those rich people do not. They will never know what it feels like to be like, oh my God, I got to work, but I need to, go to my son's baseball game. Like, that's not their lives. That's our lives. That's why they don't mind selling us out. They have ease of life. They don't have that stress. We do. We do. Keena says she's done good for her state, but I'm asking what legislation has she written or even co-written? That's all I'm asking. That's what I'm wanting to know. What has she done? I'm going to slide down a little bit so I can get some more of the comments. Okay, Keena says, okay, this is about Jasmine Crockett. Keena says she passed the China Exchange Rate Transparency Act. Did she write it? Let me pull it up. I want to know if she wrote it. Because I asked what legislation did she write. So let's get into it. Because I'm still not going to like her. But it's not, it's not compensatory that I like her. Like, she's, her life is going to be fine whether I like her or not. I just would like to, if I can have a little bit of a different opinion of her, then that's fair. The China Exchange Rate Transparency Act. Okay. And what was in that legislation? What was in that legislation and how was it beneficial? It requires the U.S. Executive Director at the International Monetary Fund to advocate for increased transparency with respect to exchange rate policies for the People's Republic of China. I'm with you. How does that benefit us? You're saying she's passed something. What did she write? Because I'm willing to be fair. I don't want to have a bad, I'm going to have a bad opinion of her, but I don't want to be, feeling wrong about her, about something that may not be accurate. Right? Don't ask me questions, Nemus. You're here to give opinions and take part in the conversation. Bad butcher, I don't know what that means. DC Gurla? I don't know what that is. Rewrite it. I think I'm missing a lot of conversations. Oh, I am a farm girl. Should I be ashamed? Should I be ashamed? Is that what it is? Should I be embarrassed? Just saying. Ox says that's the big part, pitting the working class against each other, the racial divide and culture wars on top of economic stress, so we take it out on each other instead of those perpetuating it. Yep. That's what's going on. Tammy McDaniel. Hi, Tammy. Tammy says the rich people manipulate the poor people. Mm-hmm. Sure do. Okay. Westman. Who's not going to talk about Carmelo Anthony? What is Carmelo Anthony and who's not talking about it? I'm trying to catch up with y'all's comments now. I'm kind of scrolling back up to see what was said about Carmelo Anthony. What's going on about Carmelo Anthony? Westman, I saw you talking about it. So Westman, tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Okay. Keena says she wrote another one last year. The Rural Housing Voucher Access facilitates use of rural housing vouchers. Okay. So if that's accurate, I'm gonna have to look it up. But I'm trying to keep up with the comments for now. But I'm gonna look it up. If she actually wrote that and it's legit and it's something good and beneficial, then I'll give her credit for that. Ooh, Marty said somebody else wrote that. Jasmine, not Jasmine. See, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to keep up. Mm. I mean, like I said, I'm willing to research anything because Nehemiah's, this is not that kind of platform. We come here to discuss and have discourse. If you want to go to a place where you can ask questions like you're at your local library, they exist. It's just not here. Okay. Mm. Jason says, "Don't worry, you're good. Keep trashing Crockett. She's done nothing, just like AOC. Ooh, don't get me started on her. I don't like her either." Oh, George. All right. So should I take that to mean you're from Louisiana? And welcome. Okay, Luther Marshall was writing the Wind Safety Standard Act of 2022. I'm not sure why. Okay. Dave says most poor people are uneducated. Mm-hmm. But a lot of working class people are not uneducated. Let me tell you something. That's another. Oh, they were saying Jasmine wasn't talking about it. Of course not. You know, if it's something that doesn't fit a narrative, you know, that's kind of what they do. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I would like to know. Well, Luther, if you're tired of typing, then stop typing, dear. I could have swore that was a conversation between me and Keena. That's all. Keena said y'all not telling the truth that she really did write that. So I don't know. I haven't researched it. I'm just listening to everybody's opinion right now. Brad said we the people need to own land. Brad, you know a lot of us do own land. You know that, right? Are you in the city? Are you in the city? I was raised in the South. So most people I know own land. Most people, I mean, I grew up, everybody around us own land. So, and we're in the country. So, you know, it's kind of hard not to own your land. So maybe you're one of the city folks, maybe. Marty says Carmelo Anthony is a young man on trial for killing another classmate. Ooh. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. That means there's two children who ruined their lives. One who's taken a life and the other one's who's gone. Oh, Lori's from Louisiana too. Okay, okay. Marty said, did she write or did she keep her committee, get her committee to pass it? Promise DA of C, Louisiana in the house. I see Texas in the house. George Ebling is from Hemphill, Texas. All right. I don't know. Say she just got kicked off of one of those committees. I'd have to look it up to remember which. Ooh. What's this thing? Act Blue. What's y'all opinion on Act Blue? Because you know Act Blue got caught with so much fraud. Like, it's insane. They had all these shadow donors, old people that don't donate. One little old lady was like, she donated one time like years ago, and then they were like showing that she donated $300,000 some odd dollars. One of the old people, it was a lot of elderly people, it was a lot of, you know, just ghost donors. And I just want to know what y'all think about that. No, Keena, they don't have to write a bill before trying to get it passed. They don't. Hey, Kiss My Grits. I love that. Is that from that show Alice at Mel's Diner? I like that. I used to love that show. Don't tell half the story. What story? What half of what story? And who are you talking to? Are you aware of what platform you're on? Are you okay? I like your name, but make sure you're being civil because we don't do that over here. I know people get on the internet and act like the Wild West. Everybody just acts really uncivilized and unhinged, but let me know what you're talking about with half a story and all of that. But I do want to know what y'all think about the Act Blue situation. George says malpractice everywhere. Okay, Marty says he was wrong. Jasmine was not kicked off a committee. Okay, thank you, Marty. Hi, Alex. Thank you. Okay. Brad Butcher said the NGOs, 55,000 of them. Mm, mm. That Act Blue situation had me kind of like stuck. I didn't know what to think of that. Hi, Jack. Siobhan says, Westman, what has been proven he intentionally that boy? Well, oh, you know what? I'm going to have to look it up because I want to kind of, once they explained what it was, because I didn't know the young man's name. Once they explained what it was, I remember hearing something about that story, but I'm not sharp on it. Well, because y'all know y'all from my other channel, I never covered it. And so a lot of stuff, if I don't cover it, I don't have all the ins and outs. And I don't want to give an opinion until I get a chance to see exactly what happened, what evidence came out, who told what, if there's video. Like, I just want to get a chance to look at everything and then, form an opinion. Because I heard something about it, but what was going on at that time? It was a lot of stuff going on, and it wasn't really on my radar. Ooh. Puddle Gum says, a YouTuber called Generic Art Dad makes an incredible video about how APAC gets over regulations to donate on behalf of a foreign government under the same classification as nonprofits like NRA. I believe that. Mm-hmm. Act Blue. ACT. Act Blue. Nehemiah's. Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that, Brad. Kiss My Grit says, I tell truth, nothing uncivilized. The Carmelo Anthony incident is what I'm referring to. Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, like, speaking full sentences, because when you start, like, tell the truth, not half truths, we don't even know who you're talking to. I don't, and I need to know because I'm the host. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not calling you uncivilized, but I'm saying we can't act uncivilized. We can't just jump out here and start doing stuff like that. But thank you for letting me know what you were talking about, because I didn't know what was happening. And I'm just reading people's comments and I'm trying to catch what's going on, okay? But welcome and thank you. Let me see what else. See, y'all got a lot of stuff on Carmelo Anthony, and I want to look it up because I want to see for myself. I want to see. Hello, William Rebels. Okay, Jason Gibson says, if their constituents are 100% happy and well, then don't have to write bills and try to get things passed. Good point. Oh, Pat, good night. Listen, ladies, if y'all are ladies, before y'all go to bed, go to my main channel and go to where it says posts, because that used to be the community tab. It's just posts now. Go click on the Facebook group, the American Christian Ladies group. Go join that so we can try to organize. Yes, Quiet Storm, please remind them, misspell your curse words, please. Okay. Oh, they showed a video. Okay, Jason. So when I go pull that up, I'm in front of my laptop now. I'm gonna pull it up so I can see what's going on. Brad, why I need to look up the WEF? I thought didn't Trump say we weren't gonna pay them anymore? I didn't understand why we were paying the WEF in the first place. To the devil with Klaus Schwab. Bump him. What am I looking up the WEF for? How come? Hey, Nathan. Marta said, kiss my grits. Remember, there's two sides to every story. Oh, let me get out y'all's conversation. I'm sorry. George says, I really appreciate Jim Jordan for what he's getting done. It's slow but sure. Yeah, I don't have a problem with slow. I don't. I don't have a problem with slow. I don't have a problem with setbacks. Just be working toward the right thing that looks like it's going to benefit the people. That's all. Be working toward helping the people. I can deal with slow. I can deal with setbacks. I can deal with you getting completely derailed. What I'm not okay with is you not even trying to help the people who voted you into office. That is what I have a problem with. That's what I have a huge problem with. Thank you, Nathan. So listen, y'all. We've been in here a long time. And this hot flash ain't moving. Okay? It's not moving. It has settled in. And apparently it's here for the night. So I want to say this. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate those of you who came, hung out, gave an opinion, listened to other people's opinions, even if they were different from yours. It means a lot to me. Okay? So if this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, and welcome again. Please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can come back. Please, pretty please with a cherry on top. Like the video. Thank y'all for my likes. My likes look decent. I appreciate that because I know a lot of times we're just talking and sometimes you don't get a chance to, especially if you typing. And this chat on this channel, the chat moves fast because a lot of people got a lot of opinions. Namayas, it was your first time. Well, welcome. Yeah, Ox is cool. Puddle Gum. Lori is the bomb. George. It's so many of y'all. Marty, man, all of y'all, Nathan, a lot of y'all are cool people. So please, I want you to come back. I want to be able to talk with y'all again. And again, um, just a reminder, make sure, ladies, thank you, Kiss My Grits. Ladies, Christian ladies, go to the community tab, or now it says post tab on the main page of the channel. Like, tap my face and it'll give you the whole channel. Go to posts where it says posts. The link for the Facebook group is there. This is a group for ladies only, American Christian ladies. And we're going to talk about how we can organize to support our law enforcement officers, our ICE agents, and different things like that, okay? So please, ladies, go to the tab, click the link, answer just a couple of questions, and come on in and let's start, planning and socializing. And unfortunately, gentlemen, even if you want pie recipes, don't try to sneak in. This is for ladies only, okay? All right. So y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Be blessed, be kind to each other, and we will talk again, okay? Good night, y'all. Bye.